Welcome. It's February 28th, 2023. I'm Joe Weston, and we're here for our weekly online global practice for reviving the global heart. And my heart is full with gratitude and joy for our guests this week. And for those of you who come often, and for those of you who have just showing up either live or with a recording, we are a global community now of people who are practicing this practice of reviving the global heart, of investing time and energy and our hearts and our wisdom in cultivating within ourselves resilience and fierce compassion to step into the roles, if we choose to, of nurturers and protectors for ourselves, for those we love, for all human beings, for all creatures on this planet, and for the planet itself. And in that process, we realize that it's a challenging world that we're in, where lack of civility is really rewarded these days. And we remind ourselves that when we can put aside all of the noise and all of the tension and opposition, that really at our foundation, we can always find hope. And that our commitment is to be catalysts for fierce hope. And I'm overjoyed to have someone who, when I just think of this person, activates within me a deep sense of fiery, fierce hope in my heart and through my whole being, Miss Tree Turtle, Upasika Tree Turtle. I'm going to read a little bit about who she is, and then I'm going to have them share. Miss Tree Turtle is an ordained Buddhist Upasika in her 35th year of contemplative practice, a former nurse and social worker, as well as a longtime writer, editor, and peace educator. She is the director and CEO of the Baltimore Wisdom Project and the co-director of Wisdom Projects, Inc., a nonprofit organization that provides daily peacemaking and health education to a low-income community in East Baltimore City. That's a very general sense of describing the profound work that Miss Tree Turtle does. I could spend probably hours sharing that and the profound effect that she is having on her community and the world itself. But I'll let her speak and share. Welcome. It's wonderful to have you here.
I am overjoyed to be with all of you. And it warms my heart as well to be with you, Joe, and to receive your invitation and to be among you all. Wouldn't it be amazing if the whole entire world was dedicated to reviving the global heart? If the constant recrimination, partisanship, belligerence were to be let go, if we had a humanist and humanitarian vision in all that we do, if we were more accepting and listening, if our heart rate was regularly between 60 and 100 beats per minute, if we breathed before everything that we did and paused before every action, if we really and truly looked each other in the eye and were not afraid to close our eyes, if we were okay with making mistakes and managing our conflicts peacefully, if all these things were true, then we would all across the world be reviving, living the global heart. So being here with you today fills me with great tenderness, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to let the silence be there. So, Miss Tree, I wonder if there are things you would like to share with us that's on your heart these days, aside from that beautiful, what you just said, reviving the global heart. What you're busy with your work. What's exciting you, or what's inspiring you to share with us in this moment.
The first lesson that I had to learn while studying off and on for 8 years at Wat Dharmakaya in Thailand was the practice of doing nothing.
Hmm.
This is of the utmost importance, everyone. We want to do so much in our lives that we forget that it's okay not to do anything, but just to sit, root, and find a profound sense of inner peace, indicated by emptying out our minds, noting distractions and pushing them away so that we come to a place of clarity and cleanliness, of translucence, where we see through and see beyond at the exact moment that we stay in place in the present moment, not having to do anything, but just being, no ego, no wanting, no craving, just doing nothing. So join me for one more minute and empty out in this meditation. Soft now, easy and gentle, and do nothing. And now, friends, go deeper and do one thing with me. When I reach one, visualize the face of someone who you dearly love. Meta Bhavana. You dearly love. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. See the face. 2 and 1. And after I say those 2 words, for the second time, Meta Bhavana, you will say the name of the person out loud. Meta Bhavana, Matthew. And so let's do it again. And the person who you see, I will say Meta Bhavana again, and out loud you will say their name. Meta Bhavana, Matthew. And so, friends, we moved from nothing to something. And let that be the cycle that we live our lives, balancing between the two, nothing to something, nothing to something.
Tree,
Yes.
I would love to ask you one question before Joe leads us in a meditation. You get to spend almost every day around children. What do you see in the faces of the children?
That's a wonderful question, Todd. Well, I see so much need, so much longing to be cared for, to have a voice. Even when they want to be left alone, it is a plea to be cared for. But mostly, I don't see their faces as much as I see them connected with each other and the world by prepositions. In English, the prepositions are with, for, at, and etc. A child is the most marginalized type of human being in the world. By law, they have no rights, and they have very little voice. There is no person of any culture or kind that is more marginalized than a child. So they are always with, by, for, and sometimes even against. And so the profound work of heart to care for them is the tremendous obligation of this world. And I will never doubt my mission to carry on that responsibility, especially for those that don't have money, the children of the poor. And we mustn't forget, I very rarely hear talk of discrimination and disadvantage about children. They are the ones who are most faced with these challenges in the world. Every week in Baltimore City, there are 8 to 10 murders, and half of them are children. In the area that I live in, about 11% of those homicides occur. So this work every single day from Monday through Saturday of being with the children. This morning I baked 2 pans of lasagna. They're in the oven right now, feeding them, caring for them, saying, hey, baby, come in, come on. They come into the center and they want to sit down. Before you sit down, you're going to get a hug. Come and get your hug now. Come get something to eat. And I'm very strict about high sodium and low sugar and avoiding these things in their diet. But every once in a while, I get them a treat. And so I've gotten them candy today. I'm going to take it out from my pocket and press it into their hands when I say hello. This type of tenderness is so rare. Their schools, the very buildings look like prisons here in Baltimore. So I see their faces and I see the fundamental need, and I try to meet it in their lives. Todd, that's a wonderful question. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for that. Isn't that a lovely way to actually, as nurturers and protectors, treating every human being, every creature with that tenderness? So normally I would lead a practice, but in deference to you, Ms. Tree, I would like to offer, if you would like to continue with what you were doing, or if I may, I could lead the practice.
Well, I wonder if all of you have heard of 6 powerful and ancient syllables. I will write them in the chat. And these 6 syllables, and how freeing they can be and the vibration that they produce for us when this mantra is spoken, especially with the mouth very barely open. Om Padme Mani Om. Om Padme Mani Om. Om Padme Mani Om. Mani Om. And Christine, friend, feel free to email me and I'll tell you what makes the work that I am doing different than what the Holistic Life Foundation is doing. But feel free to read the information from our websites too, because there are very, very significant differences that I would love to share. And in brief, I will say this. The kind of mindfulness practiced that I lead and the nonprofit that I am leading, Wisdom Projects Incorporated, with Dr. Theodore Richards, conceives of mindfulness and healing practices as a life course, not just a mindful moment or as leisure or as an adjunct practice, but as a fundamental, all the time, truly holistic life course. It cannot be learned by putting in a video cassette. Children can't get a DVD and sit down in a classroom and learn mindfulness from the DVD. It has to be lived and experienced firsthand. So there are some differences between the work that I believe in and am doing and Holistic Life Foundation, which is a quite important and established organization that does similar things.
You can find that in the chat, the websites for that. I love that you say that because that's so in resonance, and I think I'm going to assume or just dare to say that's where you and I resonate, is our traditions. I mean, mine is from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. It's all about turning every moment into a practice, every thought, every word, every action. You never are devoid of a moment of practice. In fact, I'm going to give a talk for the IMCW Foundation on my new work, and I was thinking of on fear civility for them was fear civility, taking your meta practice off the cushion. And this idea of, and that is what we're doing here is how do we take the beauty, for instance, the beauty of what Ms. Tree Turtle was sharing with us, just the depth of from nothing emerging into something. And in the practice we do, when I say imagine a loved one, I say who arises in your heart, and I'd like to just add that to our practice in terms of, there's a waiting, and there's something really significant about seeing in this moment who arises in your heart when you think of loved one, who arises, and to wait until that happens, who arises in your heart when you think of adversary, and who arises in your heart when you think of stranger. And this idea of approaching it from this place of from nothing to something, not only in the thoughts that arise in your heart, but even in your words and actions, always starting from nothing to something. And imagine that tenderness of with loved ones, strangers, and adversaries, to approach each one with that same tenderness of every time you reach for a hand, you're dropping a piece of candy into their hands as an act of love, is profound. So that for me enhances it, and I just wanted to share that with the group, that the enormous power of that you are, Ms. Tree, you are compassion in action.
Oh,
You don't do compassion, you are compassion. And every thought, every word, every action of yours is compassion without any effort.
I appreciate that. I'm also going to drop into the link a web page that, if you scroll down, it describes the method of mindfulness that I have been working with for many years in a low-key way. It's so important. I'm not trying to be seen. I'm not on a scene or in the scene. So you just do it. And so this web page tells you a little bit about community participatory mindfulness. A couple of months ago, when I was leading meditation with the children, some of the children were going, "Meow, meow." And I think if they had been with another teacher, the teacher maybe would have gotten upset at the presumed disruption of meowing during the meditation. But it occurred to me, because the method I work with, community participatory, that they may be onto something.
Mhm.
That the meows, especially the purring of a cat, may be itself a form of mindfulness. And so I proposed to the children that we talk through and maybe do some meowditation.
Yeah.
And to use meow, 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 as a kind of meditation for them. And let me tell you, they really got into it. Because quite frankly, we don't have to only use the ancient ways. We can listen and participate in how they enter into it. And though some of them admittedly wanted to disrupt the meditation, I had disarmed them and was able to use what they provided to participate within the work of finding inner peace. So that hopefully that little homily can tell you that it's not about forcing anybody to do anything. It's about creating spaces where what we do mindfully can emerge, continually emerge in practice.
The beautiful example of the power of the pivot. Yeah, that's the, to me, the power of the pivot is disarming someone's whatever they're doing in that moment without disempowering them, and trusting that even in that uncomfortable, messy moment, that's where new solutions emerge. That's where healing and reconciliation happens. And I would imagine for these young people that that's the moment where they feel truly seen and heard.
I want you to know something else. I do not just work, and we do not just work with children. We actually enroll families, and we work in equal measure with grandmothers, mothers, grandfathers, and fathers. We work with the whole family to transform intergenerationally.
Mm.
It is that ethic of holistic that truly changes lives. You see, the missing link within violence prevention within the world, as well as the neighborhoods that I work in, is working with the family. Peace must begin in the home and in ourselves, and then branch out. If we locate it in the family unit and in the home, then we truly give power and credence and ownership to the citizenry, to those who are our global citizens, because it is not the halls of power where the greatest of life is made. It is in the home. So we enroll families and we try to emerge and create home spaces everywhere that we work.
Beautiful. Thank you. A lot of wisdom. Does anybody have any comments, reflections, or questions?
I love your meow example of using flexibility to prepositionalize the situation and be with, right? I mean, it's so sweet. Instead of shaming or ignoring, or it's like coming alongside and bringing in the offering of what's emerging in the little, in any being, right? It's such a great inclusion and delight and wow, creative too. I mean, like, well done. Yeah, thanks.
Thank
And now
you.
Shelley has a new word, meowtation.
Meditation.
Love it.
Or also prepositionalizing.
That's beautifully done,
Shelley
Shelley.
has the most unique vocabulary of any being on this planet.
Yes, I love it.
I want to just put in the chat, if you feel inspired by this work from the Wisdom Project, you can make a donation. You want to take a look at that, just click that link to the beautiful work that's happening there. Anyone else want to share?
I would like to just share and express my gratitude, Ms. Tree, of the space, even through this medium, that I experienced of a level of calmness just by being in space with you, being
Thank
in
you so
community
much.
with. It was palpable.
Thank you, Tori.
Mhm.
All my life, I've been slow. I was called slow, diagnosed as autistic as a child. And I realized, hey, there's something to this way of being. And when I studied at the temple, finally, I was accepted. I didn't have to talk so much, being autistic and nonverbal for my earliest years. It was so rich and gift-bearing. And I wish, Tori, for everyone to experience the acceptance that you just expressed to me.
What a powerful message. Be absolutely radically loved for exactly who you are, right? Like, what
And
would the world be like if everyone was loved for exactly who they are? What actions would we do? What, it's
if we continually say, Accord, okay, it's okay. It's going to be okay. And by the way, the children put Mani Padme Om to a very funky beat. They refuse to do it slowly. It's a hard Om, Om, yes. And I just let them rip. I let them go for it. And because mindfulness can be done in a way that and emerges from the community. And it is that they do it. It is the doing of it.
Yeah.
And doing of it with and by and for. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to lift up Christine at this time and to thank her for mentioning the blessing of Holistic Life Foundation. Please be sure to look up their work as well.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Do you have any announcements, Mystery, of the things that are coming up, events, or anything else that we didn't capture with Wisdom projects or things that you're doing before I do a couple of announcements?
Yes, I do have an announcement. You must, next Thursday, please do what I will be doing, both buying Joe's book, but also purchasing that ebook copy, because I've read the book and it's amazing. And it is so necessary. We live in a world of enormous partisanship, and the book gives not just the philosophy of how we can come together, but actual practices. I believe in this book mightily, and I'm going to be using Baltimore Wisdom Projects and Wisdom Projects platforms to promote it next week. And I hope that everyone will join in doing it. I think that it's one thing to be someone's friend, but it's also the join with them in the support and uplifting of real work that transforms lives. So that is my announcement.
Now, you expect me to talk after that?
I'm going to add one more announcement for you, Tree, and that is at the Wisdom Projects, somebody else just released a book. And so there's a link to Reimagining the Classroom there too, which is actually a great complementary book to Fierce Civility. In many ways, it's just taking Fierce Civility and the creativity that comes from the pivot into the classroom.
I absolutely agree. And I think this notion of that beautiful and radical pivot is actualized in Theodore Richard's book, Reimagining the Classroom. We have much to celebrate and much to buy and much to do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So yes, as Vanessa, I don't know if you have any links, but so next Thursday will be the launch. Please pass on the information to others. Not only would it be helpful if you can, but if you get a chance to read some of it, or if you just trust what you're hearing, write a review on Amazon as well. I'm grateful for all of you for your support through these years. It's wonderful to see Paulina here. It's great to someone who has been such an important part of my life and a significant moment in my life when I was still living in Holland more than 20 years ago. It was great to have you here, who's living a remarkable life, created a remarkable life for herself on a beautiful piece of land in Spain. A vision and a model for all of us. Maybe she'll get a chance to tell us about that sometime. But thank you all. So let's do our dedication. With the profound amount of energy we've generated, and what I say, the statistical miracle that these 13 people come together, of the 8 billion on the planet, that we choose in these 45 minutes to engage in such a way, imagining the transformational power of what we have generated together. And all we need to do is just focus it and direct it to where we feel it's needed most at this moment. And may some of that be a drop of nectar onto all of the efforts of the Wisdom Project. May they flourish. And all of our projects for every one of us here, and all that we are doing, may they easefully, with tenderness, blossom and bloom into the world, touch the hearts of many. May the efforts that we have generated here touch all the children of the world and all of the children within each one of us, to find that place of stillness and tenderness, remembering that that's always our starting place and our ending place. May all beings on this planet have enough fresh water to drink and food to eat. And may all world leaders and governments govern from a place from stillness to compassion, as opposed to fear and greed and speed. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Tree. Thank you to all of you. Take this with you, share the energetic and the energy of this with as many people as you can today, or any creature, and spread the love. All right, thank you. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.